I think Lavanya has to join.
Lavanya has to be. No, today's concepts are three major concepts. Uh, Two are into parameterization. One is using Java's inheritance for making our code to reuse. We'll write a single instance of the code and reuse it n number of times with the help of a procedure called inheritance in Java. Okay. Hello. Lavanya, can you hear me? Hello, Lavanya. Lavanya, can you hear me?
Uh, yes, Mahesh, I can hear you.
Okay. So Zigurban is here. So let's start the session.
Yes.
So Swapna, Suganya, Geeta, Geeta.
Yes, Mahesh.
Yes, Mahesh.
Yes, Mahesh, you can start.
And everyone is able to see my screen, right?
Yes, Mahesh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So see, today is like I wanted to start with parameterization, to which we'll read our test data from external resources and use it for our testing purpose. And for which I'm starting with Excel parameterization. here is a spreadsheet which I have created with different users and passwords. And we're going to add some more columns to that. Like if I want a specific browser for a specific user, I will use that browser and the specific URL. I can parameterize that also. We'll go ahead further. First of all, we'll look into how do we change usernames and passwords into my current program, or use it for testing a specific browser like maybe Gmail or maybe any other email client. Let me just come back. This is our package. I'll create the last file. Name this as Excel underscore parent. Okay. I'm letting this public static void main be selected. We got finish. The first thing that I have to do here is I have to open a browser and a URL. In the procedure, as you all know, you need to call a default Selenium instance which opens up a browser for you, right? Start with so this is my default Selenium code for opening a browser in my first RC, right? These 4 lines. Okay. What I want to do is I know that every time I have to use the same 4 lines of code in RC, Selenium's component called RC, for opening up a browser and a URL, for which I have to rewrite this code again and again. Instead of doing that, what I need to do is I can create this as a specific class and use it a number of times in all other classes through a process called inheritance. So this Excel parameterization can be broken into 3 parts. First one is called Selenium reusable. Second one is create Excel and get data from Excel. Third one is use the data on web application. Okay, these are our step-by-step procedures which we need to start up with Excel parameterization. It is broken into parts. First one is make my default Selenium as reusable. So for which inside this Excel params class, I need to make my default Selenium class as a reusable class. What I have to do here is we create a new class entirely. In this I'll say I'll create a class called launch underscore application. Okay. And if I want to create my own class instance, I will not select my main method so that I can reuse it in other classes. Okay. So there is no main method inside this class. First thing that I have to do here is I have a class called default Selenium which I have to make it as a public class. This default Selenium class, which is a main instance for running my browser and a URL. Okay, so inside my launch application, what I will do here is I will create my default Selenium instance first. Say, sorry, public static default Selenium. So a variable which I want to represent my is small. Okay. Variable for my default Selenium instance. So I'll import my default Selenium class. Okay. Here it is. Through which what happens is any place which you call this class, you can refer your default Selenium class with this variable called ds. So I'm making this ds also as a global variable to be accessed everywhere. You can ask me saying, Mahesh, what is the use of making this as a global variable? Everyone, are you with me?
Yes, Mahesh.
Yes, Mahesh.
Okay. Yeah. The reason why we are going for creating default Selenium or its variable to be globalized is I don't want to create default Selenium class again. Once created, use it a number of times. In every Java file, when we are supposed to instantiate a class, we need a variable. So that is the reason I'm creating a variable also for that. So that I don't have to create a variable also. The only thing that I have to do is call this class called a launch application for opening your browser and URL and then start using it. Simply. Okay. Now, let's create our own function inside this class. Let's say public static void my give a proper let's follow proper naming conventions instead of giving some lame names to our function. Say launch app. Okay. Yeah. Also, I always don't want to go for Firefox and Firefox as a browser and some Google as a URL here. That's not suggested. I want to go for a different URLs, different browser. For which I will create two arguments saying one is my browser. No. Well, coming to this first underscore RC, what is the procedure here? First, we have to declare a browser inside my arguments and then a URL. Always prefer to go in this format only whenever you are calling a function called or a class called default Selenium. So inside this, I'll say string browser, comma, string URL. Which will create my launch app function with two arguments. So whenever I call this function, I have to pass which browser and which URL you want to open inside this browser. So that there won't be a static browser. There won't be any single browser. It can be any browser according to your discussion. So next thing is, I'll go back to my first underscore rc.java. These are the 4 lines which I want to use, right? I'll copy these 4 lines. Come back to launch application.java. Paste them here. Oops, sorry. Paste them inside my launch app function. This one is instantiating a class, right? Default Selenium DS, the first line which I wrote, which I have already done in this global declaration area. So I don't have to instantiate the class. What I'll do here is I will remove this name, only the name, not the variable. Done. My work is complete. Code which I have to reuse is ready. Along with that, these are the values which are static, right? So I will change them to my argument names or parameter names which I have created inside my function. Browser and URL. See these argument values. That's it. Nothing much to do. My code is ready. I'll just save this. Okay. Close my first underscore RC. Yes, buddy. Somebody has a question?
Yeah, yes, Magesh. Is the port number is common?
Yeah, it is common. If you want, you can change this also. No hassles. We can change this. If you want a port number to be changed, what we'll do here is I'll give a comma. I'll say port number is an integer variable, right? So I say int port and replace your value with port. Simple.
Okay.
Yeah, so whenever you are supposed to use this launch app, the way you have to call it is I'll say launch underscore app, in which you will pass your browser name. First one is asterisk and this one Firefox. So double quotes, I'll write my URL. Here, so number should not be written in double quotes. There it is. This is how you will call your function, to which those values will be replaced. I even can change this local host also. No hassles. I will let you know. Right now, let's not go for changing that local host. I'll tell you the reason why. But as if right now, please understand that we can change this local host also. But we are not changing it now. We have a time to change it. And I'll tell you when to change it. Are we all clear so far?
Yes, Mahesh.
Okay. No, I don't want to call my function called launch app inside this. I want to reuse it somewhere else. Let's come back to our original program, Excel param. where I want to read my Excel sheet in every. Now inside my main method, the first thing that I have to do here is I have to make default cell element reusable in Excel parameter. What I want to do is I want to call my function here like this. It's saying when I click my mouse pointer, it's saying method is not ready there. I'm sorry, I don't have a method for which I cannot access the parameters and start using it. Instead, beside this class name, I have to use a keyword called extends. The major backbone for the entire framework set in Selenium component, maybe WebDriver or maybe RC. Inheritance is considered as a major backbone. I mean, as I told you in the inception, there are four aspects in Java, four object-oriented concepts in Java. There is inheritance, polymorphism, abstraction. I'm sorry. Encapsulation. I'm really sorry. So these are like four object-oriented concepts in Java, within which, at a maximum extent, we use inheritance and polymorphism. Okay, so extends is a keyword which is a format to start implement inheritance in your classes. So what is that I have to extend here? I have to extend my class which is holding a function called launcher. What is the class name of this? It's launch application. Right. I copy this class name and I say extends launch application. Done. Now if you see, this has changed. No error here. Also, if you want to call one more browser and a URL, nothing to do. Inside a main method, press Control space. You will see your launch app here. See that? So this has become an internal function for you. So that every time you don't have to write default Selenium ds is equal to default ds or something, some variable and start, window maximize, open a specific URL, nothing. It's not just only for default Selenium, I'm saying. Any class instance which you want to reuse, make it as a specific function like this. Parameterize it if you want to make it dynamic with these arguments, and extend that anywhere you want. Okay? Am I clear so far? No. What if I want to extend more number of classes? Do I have to write extends launch app, comma? What are the other classes here? There are like Excel reading, read text file, right? I want to parameterize all of them. Read underscore text file. Okay? It is not allowing me to do that. Yes, annotated name or tokens are expected inside it. But reason why is you can inherit only one class at a time. We cannot inherit more number of classes at a time. So that's a restriction. You can make only one class as a child class from parent class. Can't make more number of parent classes or can't inherit more number of child classes at a time. Please remember that. So we cannot do this. How do I access other classes or how do I inherit other classes? Always remember, first class that you have to use will be the starting point of your program, which will be the inception. And then if I want another classes to be inherited inside my main method, so for example, I want to read a text, a class called read text file. Okay, read underscore text file, right? So it's a class read underscore text file. We have to instantiate it simply, nothing much. My class is equal to new. That's all. This is how we instantiate a class within another class. This is also possible. This is also called as inherit. Now I'll just write my class dot, which will give me all the methods inside that class. Or if I want launch app to be inherited in this format, instead I don't want to write extends keyword here. What I can do here, I can remove this extends keyword. I can remove this whole bunch and say launch underscore application. my class, a variable name instantiating this class is equal to new launch application. Okay. So it was for done. Inside, if I want to call my classes or methods inside this, I'm going to say my class dot. It will have launch app inside that. This is also other way around which you can call your launch app. Any questions so far, everyone? I have to declare my project variable. Go ahead. Option. Yes,
Suppose
but
yeah, if you're using like instantiating a class within another class, any number of classes can be used inside, right?
yes, you can.
Okay.
There is
So
no
like
limit.
okay, and you can also use along with this, you can also use that extend class name
Yes,
also with this.
yes. Here, if you want to extend, I mean, if you want to simply write this extends keyword, you can instantiate. I'm sorry, you can inherit only one class here, not more than one class. So that is a restriction. So to surpass that restriction, if you have a need of more number of classes to be accessed inside your parent class, you go for this procedure. Or if you feel that there is only one class that you have to go with, you go for this procedure, which is much easier than that. Two ways of inheriting another class into your current class. Am I clear, everyone? I'm just commenting this. I'm commenting this. Everybody, any questions so far, please let me know. I'll repeat this for you if you want to.
Yes, Manish.
Do you want me to repeat it once again?
Yeah.
What I want to do is, I want to always launch a browser and a URL with a specific user value, user-defined value, my own customized value. Before starting my class, what I have done is, I created a class called launch application, launch underscore application, inside which I want to make my class and its variable as public so that it can be accessed anywhere. So the first step that I have done here is, I created a static variable for my default Selenium instance or default Selenium class and assigned a variable for that called ds. Then inside which I created my own function by removing main method. I have not included main method. I created my own function name called launch underscore app, gave three different arguments which I want to replace them with my default Selenium method. This is my default Selenium method. As I told you, anything that comes before is equal to is a class, comes after is equal to is a method. So default Selenium is a method which takes four different parameters. The default nature is four parameters, right? Among which I have replaced my values like port number, browser, and URL. Okay? So I want to give different port numbers and different browser names and different URL. That's the reason I have parameterized them or created some arguments, and these are the three methods which are like defaultly appearing. Defaultly usable by opening a browser and a URL. So I don't want to reuse them. I'm sorry. I don't want to rewrite them again and again. I just want to write once and reuse it n number of times. For that purpose, I created my own function with a specified customized arguments which I'm willing to pass according to my own discretion, and created all these steps or included all these steps inside my method or inside my function. Now I have to access this function. So for accessing this, we have to inherit this class which is having this function called launch app in another class. So I created one more class wherein I want to parameterize my values from Excel sheet. And the first option for inheriting another class is extends using extends keyword. So I used an extends keyword and return the class name, that is launch underscore application, in the class which is having my customized function. This, okay? This is the class. So that I can inherit any methods or functions inside this class. The moment I write extends and the class name which I want to access, I can go inside my main method and just do control space inside, which will give me all those methods which I have inside that class, among which launch app is one of them. Just click on it. And as it has 3 parameters, I'll just replace those parameters with the values which I want. Okay. While I want to do a separate URL one. If I want to change, that's it. So by this I can reuse my instance, my code instance in a number of ways and a number of forms. Instead of Firefox, I can use Chrome also. I can use iExplore. Shortcut key, another shortcut key is IESTA for Internet Explorer. Anything goes. I'll give you the whole list of browsers there. So don't have to recreate the class, and I can use a number of browsers and a number of URLs like this. Am I clear so far, everyone?
Yes, Mahesh.
Let us run this program called launch Excel params and see whether it is opening my Firefox browser along with the port number or not. Everyone, are we clear regarding inheritance?
Yes.
Start with Selenium server. Selenium server is started. Save and run the program. Application. Now we have launched my browser and a URL. Next thing is we have to read an Excel sheet which is already available and which is having usernames and password. Okay. There is missing over. Okay, got it? So without writing that line of code, I can access my function and reuse it n number of times. So I can call this n number of times inside my Eclipse. Those many number of times, this browser will be open for you. So just copy, paste it back. Okay. No hazards. You can use it n number of times like this. But as I told you, with different sets of values or same values is also fine. Okay. The next thing inside our Excel parameterization is create excellent data from Excel sheet. Now I want your help in accessing this. What is it I have to do if I want to get a work into my Excel sheet? Which class I have to use? Everyone, what is the class that I have to use for accessing my workbook from a specific location?
Get workbook.
Get workbook.
No, class name. Get workbook is a method inside my class. Class is workbook class. Okay? WP is equal to workbook dot. Now comes get workbook. Okay? Get workbook is a method and workbook is a class.
Work.
Get workbook method is inside my workbook class. Please make it clear here. Okay. Now, if I want to get a workbook, I need to give a specific URL and a location here. Let's close this workbook which is open for us. I don't want this to be. The object which I want to access should not be open, so I'm closing it. I'll go back to my folder. Just take location. It's data.xls, okay? Tell me what I have to do. I have to access a file. Now, should I have to give the path name here directly? Everyone, you practiced Excel sheet programming, right? Reading in Excel?
You have to input the
You-
file.
Yeah, we need to instantiate a method called, a class called file input stream.
File.
So that because we want to read here, file input stream. Okay. It will access, or which will tell where my file is. I'll say data.xls. Now this is giving me an error here. What should I do? The path is giving me an error.
Double slash.
What is that called? Yeah, double slash is okay. Yeah.
Double slash.
Double slashing.
Yeah, what is that procedure called by implementing double slashes? We have to use escape sequences. Okay, see, if you keep your mouse pointer also, you'll get that error. These are called as escape sequences. Okay? We have to give double slashes as you said, yes. And file input stream is a class, let's import it. And where is this Excel values are coming from? From which jar file?
Throws exception.
JXL.
JXL.jar, yeah. Okay, every time I will not ask you which jar file is. The technical term to represent a jar file is, I'm sorry. The technical term that represents a jar file is from which place. Normal textual format or normal English-like format here. It's called as a content holder. Jar file is called as a content holder which has all the classes inside it. So my workbook, complete Excel instances classes are available inside a jar file called jxl.jar file. So I'll ask you, what is the content placeholder? The next time onwards, please remember that the technical term is, what is the placeholder which is having all these classes? So obviously it will be a jar file. Okay. Now, as for your understanding, I asked it as a jar file. Okay. We accessed our workbook. Next thing, I need to get the sheet. Right. From the workbook.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, what is the class for that?
Sheet.
Yeah. Sheet variable equal to, as my sheet is inside my workbook, I have to use my workbook variable wb dot get sheet method. Okay. And with the, now what is the value that I have to give here? Get sheet of what?
Rows and columns.
Oh yeah, we haven't accessed the sheet yet. After accessing the sheet, we will go to rows and columns. We are still inside the sheet. Get sheet of sheet. It's showing an argument here. See, 0.
Number 0, yeah.
Yeah. What does that represent? What is that 0 there?
First sheet.
That's the sheet number.
Yeah, index of the sheet. Yeah, exactly. It's the sheet number. It is called as index of the sheet. Use the technical terms here. Sheet of 0 represents the index of the sheet. Okay. And now I'll go for all the rows that are used. Okay. Normally, if I want to use the rows, I use a method called getRows, for which I'll write a looping construct. Say int r is equal to 1, r less than ws dot getRows method, r plus plus. Everybody, are you concentrating? Hopefully or maybe intentionally I might be doing some mistakes here. Please concentrate and correct me if I'm doing wrong. I expect some answers from everyone. I'm doing something wrong here, I don't know. Okay. You have to parameterize user ID and password. Okay. For this purpose, when I have to read, then once I read, I have to apply it on my web page, right? For example, I want to use my Gmail page here. So I'll change my URL, not www.google.com. It will be accounts.google.com. Okay. When I open this, let me go back. This is my gmail.com. Okay. No user ID here. I want to know what are the names of my text box and a password field. Okay. Because I have to enter my username and passwords there. Right? Unless and until I know the object names, I cannot access them, right? So if I want to know the object names, what is the tool we need to use? Firebug. Yeah, because I have to enter my username and password inside these fields, right? Okay, there is my Firebug. I'll click on my Firepath tab, click on my element identifier, take it all the way back to my email text box. Single click on it again. So I see in the XPath it says ID is equal to email, or you can see it here also. Okay. Now, if you do a little smart work enough, you will find your password also here beneath that simply, because the objects are one after the other beneath them, right? Or you can even identify them by using this same process. See, element identifier, above it shows your password here. Clear? So the object names are email and password, PASSWD, capital instance, capital letters. Those are IDs for me. Okay. Now I understood my object names. The first thing that I have to do here is, when I'm supposed to read the values, I have to type these values inside my text boxes, which are available inside my page, and my page is accessed with this function. Okay. We have created a variable. Remember, in launch application for default Selenium, what is the variable name? DS. We have inherited this class completely along with its variable. So no need of creating a variable again. Simply inside my rows, I say ds dot. Got it? That is the reason we have globalized a variable also. Okay. Now directly I can write ds dot type, which will allow me to type within a locator and a value. See, it is asking for a locator and a value. Locator would be my first email text box name, ID of my email text box. Okay, and the value will be, last time when we read my Excel sheet, what did we do? We used get cell method, right? So likewise, here also we use ws dot get cell of second get cell method, which will take two arguments. Okay, so if I have to read my spreadsheet from a location, see, I'll open my spreadsheet. Starting point of my spreadsheet is 0th row and 0th column. But here the first row and first column are with column names, which I don't want to read. See that? The spreadsheet, this is my 0th row and 0th column here. Everyone, are you with me?
Yes, Mahesh.
Please concentrate here, everyone. Okay. Column name is username. But I don't want to read the column name. First, I want to read a value called, the first value called Sweta here. This is where I have to start reading my values from. And likewise for password also I have to read it from here. Okay. Now this username is 0, 0. That is 0th row and 0th column. If I come down a little, it will be
1, 0.
0, 1.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
First will be column and then will be my row.
Okay.
Okay. So this will be 0, 1. Okay. Now what will be this password?
1, 2.
1, exactly. 1, 0. Okay. column, first column and then password here. I'm
Okay.
gonna write it here. Sorry. Please pop up now. Okay. We will access our values with column, comma, row. This is our values will be. So my column name is password, which is
1.
yes,
1.
1 comma 0th row only.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't want to read this. I want to read it from here onwards. So what will be the value for me? 1 comma
1, comma 1.
exactly. Simple. Clear, everyone? This is 0 comma 1. This is 1 comma 1. Am I clear so far?
Yes, Mahesh.
Yes, Mahesh.
Okay. Sure. Let's go back. Let's close this. Now here. I want to parameterize along with the instances. I have my R, which is getting iterated to the maximum number of rows. So the first thing here is I want to read my column. The column is 0th column. Row will be 1 here. But as I am having an R iteration, I remove 1 and place R there. Okay? Got it?
Yes, Mahesh.
So as you all know, once you access the row, we have a method to be used. That is a get contents method. Right? Okay, I'm sorry, it should be this dot get contents method. Done. So this will grab my username from that row value. As R changes from 1, 2, 3, 4, this will be replaced simply. So every time, first a value called Sweta comes in, and then comes Lavanya, then comes Geeta, then Suganya. You know, it goes on like this. Then comes Swapna, then comes Raj. There are like set of values inside my Excel sheet, right? So this is for my email. Next would be for my password. So ds dot type again. Locator will be password. PASSWD is the value. Is the locator name. Value will be same, excepting. I'll just copy this. So to maximum extent, we are reusing these codes. Instead of 0, I'll make it as 1. Everybody, are you with me?
Yes,
Understood?
Yes, Mahesh.
Any questions so far? Please let me know if you have any questions. Are we clear so far, everyone? Sure. Because everybody, parameterization is a very strong concept and very, very, very highly reusable concept. Please, this is a very basic starting point. We are going to increment our column values in the spreadsheet. It is not only being restricted to username and password like this. We will replace our browsers, we will replace our URLs, we will replace our object names, everything. So please, if you have any questions which you are still having any issues, even if it is a small one, please let me know. Because in my Eclipse, whatever is inside double quotes can be parameterized. Right? This one. See this? Email I can send it from my Excel sheet. Password I can send it from my Excel sheet. Everything can be parameterized, including this path also. That is how we make our code dynamic. And this is for parameterizing my Gmail page. What if I want to use my login procedure on Yahoo? I can do that also. I'll tell you how to do that. But are we clear so far, everyone? Shall we run this? Okay, let's do one thing. We'll create a, we'll give some breathing time. Don't sleep. So that you can see the values changing after a while. Okay. Save this. Close our browser values. Run this again. My Selenium server is already running, so I'll just say run as Java. Now it should bring me all the values one after the other which I have inside my Excel sheet. Sorry. Oops. Something wrong in the environment. Oh, there are two dots here. I'm sorry. My mistake here. Should be account.google.com. Instead of this. Okay. There is my server window and comes my Gmail page. There it is. First value should be written there. There it is. The first value is Sweta. The password for that user. Next comes Swapna, then Geeta, then Suganya, then comes Lavanya. Can you see the values changing?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Everyone?
Yes.
No. When I'm performing this testing, I need an assurance saying what is that I have done. If I want a screenshot, yes, I can take a screenshot also for this. Let's close this. For every instance that I am performing here, I can take a screenshot. I'll say ts dot. There is a method called capture screenshot. There it is. It will ask me a location to store, where to store the file. I'll say I'll give our project location. Logic. Now I want to create my files or save my images along with the names, name of my username, or maybe numbers. Image 1, image 2, or image 3 like that. So I will save it like login underscore here. Concatenate my value with R plus symbol again double quotes dot use ELP. Okay, we should be with your escape sequences. Because I want to save my file like login underscore 1, login underscore 2, login underscore 3. So how many number of users are, those many number of images will be saved. Okay. As R is been iterated with a number, I'm using the same R as my file name. We'll take BMP, not BMP, I will take PNG, that's the smallest format. Saves a lot of space. BMP takes a huge space. Okay, let's go back and run it again.
I think
No,
you have given the
sorry? Yes, but go ahead.
the link what you have given, right? I think it's there in the file name. It's the automation upload.
Oh, is it? Okay. Oh, let's stop it.
The down.
Yes. Let's stop it here. We go back to console and stop it here. So directly stop and thank you. Let's run it again. Are we missing something here, everyone? In the code.
Need to close the file.
Excellent, Srikant. Yes, whenever you are using a specific instance, you have to. Please don't forget that.
Okay.
That's a backbone. Seriously, even if you are reading, trust me, when you are working on a server end, this close method will help you in accessing it in a very wide format. Or if not a close method, you can use stop method also. See, there is something called a stop, which will stop my Selenium server directly. Once my Selenium server is stopped, all my values or references will be closed, among which Excel is also one of them. Okay, see also ds.close also. Anything goes, no problem. You can use anything. But here it is not ds. We have to close my, what is it I have to close? WB or WS?
WB.
Excellent. WB.close. Okay. First I'm closing my spreadsheet and then I'm stopping my default Selenium server. So this is a very good practice. Please make sure that you are following this. Okay.
And Maki, it's like even if
Yes.
you don't use this also, it doesn't show any errors, but only use this for more performance.
It doesn't so, yeah, because see, we are working on a local machine here. We don't have a server right now. That's why we don't see any impact. When we are working in a real-time scenario within a server instance, because when we join in any company and work on, we will have a server for sure. But inside the server, if you don't close the object which you open, that object will be remaining in the memory and the server will access that file first. Even though somebody else comes into it, if somebody else is accessing the same file or trying to access same kind of object, server will open the first object which you have accessed.
Oh, okay.
They won't see the latest object that they want to see, because that memory will be still be accessible inside that server. So we have to release it from the memory, which is a good coding practice always. Okay. Here it is like, as I told you, it's a local machine. It doesn't make any difference for us. Okay, running. Okay, I have stopped my Selenium server. Let me start it. Okay. Run as Java application. I can even, further going on, when we start with a framework, we have to write more. This is just a starting point for parameterization here. We have to give a reporting construct. We have to write login is successful or login is a failure. Everything. And we have to save that inside a report and generate a report, generate a log. That's how it goes on. And moreover, the most dynamic feature is we are using it for Gmail. For example, I have my own client for whom I have a login page for sure. Every web page will have a login page. I mean, they want to validate it to their valid users or something.
Okay.
My login functionality, which I wrote now, should be applicable for them also. I'll tell you where to do that and how to do that. Okay, here are my values. We should write code in such a way. If I write login once, I will use that login n number of places for n number of web pages. Okay. Let me go back and check out is there a screenshot. There you go. All of our screenshots are there. And PNG, as I told you, it's a very smallest format. Okay. It's only in KBs here. See that? 71 KB is my file size. For each and every user, I have it here. So I can save this directly in my server and ensure that this is what I have done as a testing format. Okay. Shall we go ahead? Are we clear so far, everyone? Hello.
Yes, Mahesh.
Clear.
So we have done using the test data for my web application. In extension, use same logic for other web pages. Precisely login. This is what we have done, right? For my parameterization. Let's go back. Open my Excel sheet. So if you observe in this code, for my accounts.google.com, the object names are email and password. These two, right? Let's go back here, right? Username. Right, I lost it here. XP, username, XP, password. These are my object names which I want to use. So for my first user, I want a browser to be Firefox, URL to be Google. Okay, and for which my username text box name is email, password text box name is PASSWD, ECAP. Okay. If I want every user to be accessed on a different pages, I can redirect them here itself. Just Firefox. This is mail.in.com. And for which, if it is mail.in.com, I have to use mail.in.com username and password, right? Come back. In the username text box here. There you go. I have username and password here also. Okay, let's find out the names. Okay, it says F underscore ID is my username text box name. Copy this, go back to my Excel, and write it here. So, copy that. Okay. So the name of my password text box here is F underscore password. I'm copying it from the expert. Okay. Here is my password. Likewise, you can redirect users to different URLs on different web pages, or I'm sorry, on different objects. Are we clear so far? For my sheet, I'll say login. I can combine different logins on the same page. If I say for every user I want to perform different login operations, now I'll say login underscore Gmail is this one, and other sheet I'll create as login underscore mail.in.com. Okay, so here I will not use this. Remove this, or else hang on. Copy this entire bunch, come back to the other sheet, paste it here. Okay, so instead of working on these values, I'll just remove icon.gmail.com, bring these values up. Got it? So first sheet index is 0, right? I'm reading the first sheet index 0 in my Excel sheet. Second sheet index is 1. Okay? If it is for Gmail, I'll be using these values. So I'll remove these also. I don't want this. I want only Gmail access values. So for the first set of users, it will be Gmail. And for the second set of users, it should be mail.in.com. The values will be F underscore ID and F underscore password. Okay? Did you understand the spreadsheet, everyone?
Yes, Mahesh.
Now, I want to access them back and see whether it is working or not. How do I do that? I will control it with the index. We are accessing my spreadsheet values here with the index here. See this? Sheet 0. Get sheet of 0.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
For the first iteration, I use get sheet of 0. The second iteration, I use get sheet of 1. How do I do that? Because I cannot use R, because R is starting from 1. But I want to read my sheet from 0. For that, I'll create a small one more for loop. Means some y is equal to 0, y less than or equal to. Tell me, what should be the condition?
1.
Okay. Okay.
Since we are reading only
Right.
2 sheets, you can.
Okay. Restricting yourself to only 2 sheets. Okay. If I have one more, what should I do then? I'm removing the whole entire code and pasting it inside this form. Okay. Now, here instead of get sheet of 0, I'll just replace it with y. Correct?
Yeah.
This line? That's this line. So that first time it will be sheet 0. Right? Are you understanding, everyone?
Yes, Mahesh.
First time it will be sheet 0. Because
Yes.
of this. Next it will be sheet 1. Okay? Now when it is sheet 0, yes, I agree. My text username is email and text password is password. And if it is sheet 1, they are different again. Right? Now tell me what is the row and what is the column here. Hang on, I'll tell it for you. See, it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is fourth column, first row. Fifth column, first row.
First.
Okay? We need to be very precise in this. Now, these are my values, right? Email and password. I'm commenting these also. Copy and comment. Okay. Instead of email, I need to write ws dot getSend. Tell me what should be the values here.
4,1.
Okay, that is for my first sheet. What should okay 4,1. Chalo. 4, R, right?
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
And for my password, ws dot getSend of
5,
5, R. Right? Right? This will give me my username and text box values. What if I want the other values? This one. See, this is for my sheet 1. Column names are same. When it goes to sheet 2, here also column names are same, right?
Yeah.
That's my logic. The reason why I copied the same values here with the same column names into the second sheet is I want to make the column names same in both the sheets, excepting the index of the sheet changes. The advantage here is I don't have to replace my code again and again. Okay?
Okay.
Understood, everyone? Hello?
Yes, Mahesh.
Yes, Manish.
Any questions here? If you have any questions, please let me know. Or if it is confusing, I don't hear much from Lavanya, Suganya, Geeta. Buddy, are you understanding what we are doing here?
Yeah, yes.
Yes, Manish.
Okay. Swapna, Sweta,
Yes, Mahesh.
Yes, Mahesh.
sure?
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Okay. Now we have replaced my values with my Excel sheet values. Okay? Now this also should be using get contents method, right? So I have to add get contents here also. say dot get content. Done. This is how I'll read my spreadsheet. So we will write only one instance here. Done. Okay. Shall we run this? Should there be something else being done? I have to change my URL also, right?
Yeah.
First time it is accounts.google.com. Next time it should be mail.com.
Yes.
But I have these values inside my spreadsheet. Why should I keep it outside my for loop? Bring this launch app inside my for loop. Okay? Am I making sense here?
Yes.
So where should I write my launch app? Inside the second for loop or outside the second for loop?
Outside
Outside.
Slowly. Don't rush out. Don't rush out. This for loop is for accessing the data in the spreadsheet. This for
Outside.
loop is changing the index for the sheet. Let's write it inside only because we need to read the data from inside only, right?
Okay.
Or should we write it outside?
Outside that.
Let
outside.
yeah, tell me. Huh. No, slowly. See, my question here is, what happens if I write it inside? What happens if I write it outside? First thing is, when I write it outside, my iteration will be twice only. It will not be iterated more than twice. If I write launch app inside this for loop, how many times my for loop is iterated, those many number of times my launch app is also executed. But I don't want to do that. I want to open only two browsers, one after the other.
Okay.
So don't write it inside. Because according to your rows and columns, your iterations will be. If you write launch app inside for loop, how many rows you have, those many number of times your launch app, that many number of times launch app will be opened for you, which is like a wastage for me. Okay, I don't want launch app inside, for which I will be using it outside only. Sorry. This is the reason we'll use it outside this for loop. Okay. This one, I have only two sheets. According to the sheet, I will be opening them. My browser and a URL. Okay. Now, where is my URL in the spreadsheet? This place. What is the column? 0, 1, 2, 3. Third column, first row. Third column. Yeah. Now, who is telling row and column here? I don't have an internal for loop. ws dot cell method. No problem. Go ahead, hard code it. It's like 3, 1. Because this is not going to change at any point of time. The column will be same inside the spreadsheet. No issues. Okay? Dot get contents. Again. Got it? So first time it will be accounts.google.com and the browser will be closed. Again one more browser will be open. It will be mail.in.com. Okay? Like this, we will pass everything from the spreadsheet result, which will make it accessible for any website, any login procedure. Let's run this and see. Hopefully this executes here. What will you do here if there is some error?
We will debug.
No, I'll give it as an assignment for you. Okay?
Yes, we can learn more.
Yes. There you go. I'm running this now. We are using Firefox only. I know. We'll change it. We'll change it to Chrome. We'll change it to IE. Don't worry. Okay. Here it is, myaccounts.google.com. See, there is something wrong.
Because we mentioned only for first thing. Yeah.
Sorry?
In the Excel sheet, we have mentioned only for first name. I mean, like. Can you open it?
Okay.
We
We'll
have
go back to
written
Excel.
only for the first person.
The columns, if we need to put a column for column.
Oh. Okay. Here is my first spreadsheet. Tell me.
We have mentioned browser URL, text username, and text password for the first person, so it's displaying only the first one.
Okay. Why is it not going for the second then? We haven't told not to go for the second here.
Yes.
Every while and then we told ds.type same values. 4, r, 5, r, 0, r and 1, r. They should change, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, see, this 4, r is been for the second user also. If it is first time r is 1, next time r will be 2. So it will be 4, 2.
Yeah.
Right? So then what is 4, 2 here? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It is empty. As it told, yes. Should we use the same and copy them back? Is this suggested?
Or we can write a for loop and the loop for
Okay, so what if you write another for loop inside? We should have the values back, right?
yeah.
Every while and then it should be 4, r or 5, r only. Let's do one thing. When we are supposed to access an object inside my spreadsheet, let's not make it dynamic, because my intention is always I want to use the same object name and the same URL. Right? And why should I change it? Only let the users should be changed, not the values.
Okay, yeah.
These are same for every user, right here.
That's
I want it for the next user also. But I don't have the values. I know these values are not going to change. These values will never change, right? Accounts.google.com URL will never change. Email text box name will never change. Password text box will never change. Am I making sense?
yes.
Values which never change can be reused, but not writing any number of times. So don't make these values dynamic. Now here it should be 4, 1 directly. 5, 1 directly. Okay? Any clear so far? Everybody
Yes, Mahesh. Yeah.
understood why did I make 5, 1 and 4, 1 as static values? Because they doesn't change at all.
Yeah.
But these values for my usernames, this is like 0, r. What is this value there? The actual value that should be written. So it should change. Users will change, right? Not the objects. I understand here. Here, see, if it is my username or login page here, Mahesh will be username first time. Then comes Sweta. Likewise, this username changes, but text box will be remaining same.
Yeah.
So I will not change the text box value. Let it be written only once and accessed only once. Make it static. Okay? Any clear so far, everyone?
Yes, Mahesh.
Understood what I said?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's close this and rerun it again. So, why is that this code is called as dynamic temp? You can ask me a question saying, Mahesh, you made a value called value static there. Why? How can I say parameterization is so dynamic? There are two major reasons here. One is intention of parameterization is wherever there is a reusable option, we will make it reusable n number of times through an external resource. Second one is biggest advantage, regression suite. We are performing a testing using a regression suite or regression testing with the different sets of users and different sets of values. Also with different sets of browsers and different sets of URLs. By knowing the names of those objects. So that what happens is our code becomes only dynamic, not static, unless and until the functionality changes. If your Gmail page changes, then we have to change my code. If my mail.in.com page changes, then I have to change my code. Okay? There you go. My values are changing up. Sweta, Swapna is there. Next comes Geeta. This is for my
First
Gmail.
sheet, yeah.
Raj. There you go. This is done. I should open mail.in.com first. What happened? It didn't went for the next iteration. Right?
Yeah.
This first for loop, y is equal to 0, y less than or equal to 1. It didn't went for the next iteration. It didn't open the next browser. This one. This place where I have to change my sheet is not working. What should I do now? That is your assignment. First sheet, it's reading the values and printing and taking my screenshots as usually, and it's not going to the next sheet. If I have to read the next sheet, I just have to change the index. See here, show you by changing it statically. So inside my code, I'll write instead of y, I'll write 1. Okay, I'm commenting this for loop. I just want to see whether mail.in.com is accessible or not. Okay, let's go and comment other places also. See that everyone? I just changed the sheet index. See that? Sheet instead of 0, I am accessing first sheet. It is mail.in.com. Let's run this. Actually, we wanted it to do through a for loop. That is not happening on a Java application. Can you see that? It's opening mail.in.com. Got
Yes.
it?
Yes.
Here are my values. Sweta is the first value. Then comes Swapna. Can you see the values changing? Everybody?
Yes, Mahesh.
But actually, when I'm trying it to do through a for loop instance inside my code, it's not changing. My code is working fine. Only thing is the index is not changing. Okay? I'm giving this as an assignment for you all. Okay? This is where you have to uncomment. The for loop, it changes your index of the sheet. Please work out on this. Save it. Okay. So do you want me to write any more comments, or are we clear so far regarding the values here? Any place if you want me to write a comment, I'll write a comment. Everyone?
Yes, it's clear, Mary.
Okay. Sure? Okay, nice. Uh, okay, I would like to give a clue here. Oh, no worries, no worries. Go
I
ahead.
have a doubt, Mahesh.
Yes,
Oh,
please.
sorry.
Yes. No, please, please.
Here is like, okay. Here we are closing that workbook, right?
Excellent.
So
Yeah.
once the workbook is closed, then it won't go to the next sheet. So I don't think, I don't know whether it's correct or not, but I just guessing
It is, buddy. It is. You are closing the workbook. That's the only problem.
Oh,
You solved the assignment. And moreover, we are stopping my Selenium server also.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. We are stopping Selenium server within the for loop. Let's not do that. It should be outside. Okay?
Okay.
As I am stopping my Selenium server, it will not run my code at all.
Yes, so okay. Now it won't go to the next sheet.
You said it's a very small dot. That's your assignment. Simply done. You're a nurse. Now I have to find for one more assignment. now comes an actual assignment. Find out 3 different web pages with login, like maybe Yahoo, Reddit, or whatever. I don't know.
Okay.
You find out 3 different websites which have a login page.
Okay.
Create your spreadsheet in such format. Understand the object names in those web pages. Give those object names as your values. Replace them in the Excel sheet. Use this code.
Okay.
Okay, that's your assignment. 3 different websites. Login functionality, which is having a login functionality. Maybe Reddit, maybe Yahoo, maybe whatever page it is.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. There is something wrong. We have changed the index to 1, I think. Let's stop it. I haven't uncommented or what. Here in my sheet, I wrote 1. It should be white. Index of my sheet.
Why?
I changed it to white. Let's start my server again. There you go. Launching my standard server. It's done it. There you go. It should start with my Gmail page and then come to my email.com. So everybody understood this parameterization, right?
Yes, Manish.
Okay. I'm not starting going for Notepad today. I want you to get comfy on Excel parameterization. Okay. Have pretty much hands-on. Please, Excel is the one which you will be parameterizing a lot. And we are working only with the 5 or 6 columns here. At a normal level, it will be minimum to 15 columns. Maximum, I can't say. So you should be very familiar in handling those. I mean, how far you will have a good hands-on on the Excel sheet, that much code you can write. Moreover, as you have observed, we have wrote our functionality only to some extent. Everything lies in the hands of Excel sheet. So you should be very careful in accessing the values, column names or column numbers, row numbers. Give those values precisely, and then start using it. Okay. Now this is my first browser. There goes opening up login page. 1 second. You see, it will be mail.in.com. Okay.
Yeah.
Just give me a minute here. Yeah, Mahesh, morning. No, last night itself the deployment is done. It's completely done. We have an updated mail. You possibly John's email also. It's you know, 15 minutes. Okay, let's go back to my folder. All the screenshots. Do we have all the screenshots? My login one is replaced with my mail.in.com. Where is my Gmail?
Mm-hmm.
Because it just overlaps the previous image.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
If you want, you can change the name so that you will have a different name. Simple. Here instead of R, you can write your different name. Okay. Or you can also implement plus Y. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll tell you how to do this also. Don't worry. Okay. Well, that's your assignment. As I told you, you need to use 3 different websites which have a login. Find out the objects in those websites. Replace those values inside this Excel sheet like this. Okay.
Okay.
And test the login functionality. That's your assignment for this weekend. Tomorrow probably we will have a session. I just want to compensate on yesterday's and day before. I couldn't join you all.
Tomorrow, anyhow, we have class, Mahesh. Today is Friday.
No,
I mean, tomorrow is Friday. I mean, Thursday.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Tomorrow is actually festival leave, so we are not taking any break from tomorrow.
Okay. Okay.
As usual, it will be. I'll update you on the timings. It might be same as 4:30 a.m. or 6:30 for sure. It will not skip on. But I will update you by this end of May.
Okay. Yeah.
You'll have a mail in your inboxes regarding the update. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'll send these files to you all. Please practice on this parameterization law here. Okay. So everyone, no questions? Everything is understood?
As of now, no.
Well, that concludes this Excel parameterization. Going ahead, we have to do some more. We need to do a notepad parameterization also. How to read a notepad, and that's a little cauzy that we have parameters values. We'll work on that also, don't worry. After that, we'll be going through accessing tables. How do we access objects inside my web pages? Like text boxes, radio buttons, check boxes, buttons. Okay, how do we use them and how do we perform actions on those web pages and all? Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
If you have any questions, please let me know. That's we can find. Everybody understood this inheritance concept, right? Everyone?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Good. Well,
Yes, ma'am.
then let's catch up on tomorrow. I'll send these files to your inboxes and I'll post them to our employee and then select you.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And thanks everyone for joining little ahead. Short notice. Thanks for coping up. Okay?
Yeah.
Just one tomorrow. Bye. Bye, brother.
Yeah, bye, Mahesh.
Bye, Mahesh. Bye. Mahesh.